Live?
Shit. Yeah.
Now we're live.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Carnivore Sunday School, the first one in November. I know we in the United States just turned our clocks back 1 hour last night or early this morning. I know the UK, you did it a week earlier, which was a lesson for me. I didn't know we weren't lined up. I thought we all did it around the same time, so that caused a little concern. But we're here, and I hope our viewers aren't what would be an hour behind or an hour late showing up. We have a special guest today. Her name is Kimberly Morrow. I'm really excited to hear her story and how carnivore has improved her health in so many other wonderful ways. Before we get started and our introduction, and she tells us a little bit about herself, let's just go around clockwise and just do a quick, brief introduction of who we are, where we're from, maybe how long we've been carnivore. And I'll start. I'm John, the carnivore teacher alpha. I'll be carnivore coming up on 3 years. Before that, I was ketovore. Before that, I was keto. Many, many benefits, not just weight loss, some mental health, OCD, AFib, lower back, so many wonderful benefits. So I'm telling other people, I'm teaching. I have YouTube videos that I put out on my channel. We do this wonderful Sunday school, Carnivore Sunday School, just to get the word out for anybody who's looking. They can find us and learn about this wonderful ancestral way of eating. So that's me. Kim, you're up.
Hi, I'm Kim, and 50 years old. I found carnivore through Dr. Elizabeth Bright. I was struggling with my hormones, and that's where my journey began. Been a practitioner for 25 years, 4 kids, 1 grandbaby. Gosh, I'm a little nervous today. But my goal is just really in this life is just to help everybody quit outsourcing their health to big pharma, supplement industry, everybody. Like, they just need to take control and empower their own lives and reclaim their health. And that's kind of my speech there is stop outsourcing your health, because we really do have the power to heal. We just have to put our bodies in the proper condition to do that.
George.
Okay, so hello everybody. I think most of you know him by now. I usually say I am at this point, but I'm going to say this time, this is we are Lainey and George. We live in Bridgewater in Somerset, and we are both your 6-year-old carnivore friends, because I keep on forgetting that we are a carnivore household now. We share our house with 2 pussycats, Angus and Hamish. I know a lot of our friends in the community love the cats. So I came, as everybody knows now, to carnivore gradually, having been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in March of 22. Lainey was diagnosed with a very serious breast cancer in September of 22. So we have been on a 3-year journey together. I have totally cured now my type 2 diabetes and everything that went with it. Lainey's cancer journey continues. She had the poison cut burn treatment. So she had chemotherapy, mastectomy, and radiotherapy. But the struggle goes on. She's now on a 5-year randomized control trial. She was very reluctant to come to carnivore at first. She was very suspicious it was a cult that would, an American-based cult that would cost us a lot of money. But this year, really, she had a bit of an epiphany for her. We have a very good friend here in the UK who is also a cancer sufferer. And she saw that lady do an interview earlier on this year. And she was so inspired by the story that she basically decided that carnivore was for her. So she is now very familiar with the works of Otto Warburg and Thomas Seyfried, and is now pretty much a full-blown carnivore. Still occasionally has if we go out for dinner, she'll have, some of the sides that go with it. But I just watched her demolish a plate of beef and eggs just before I came on. So that if you don't get much more carnivore than that, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, and also the other thing I will say is that Lainey, as I say, we've been married for 21 years, and she is now very much part of the carnivore community. She joined the KMT last week. I think she's very popular with our friends in America, and there's a lot of interaction in chat. She loves it very much, and to the point where she's coming with me to Wyoming in August of next year.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. And the plan is basically playing cowboys with the likes of Tyler and Dr. Chafee and Dr. Kiltz. There's a pride of a lioness is waiting out there waiting for it, and they want to get their claws into her so they can go hunting together. And of course, hunting in this case means retail therapy. So they're very much looking forward to going shopping with Lainey and sharing a girly experience while I'm doing the cowboy things. Hence the hat tonight, anyway. So that's the story of me and Lainey in our household here in Bridgewater and Somerset in the UK. And as for the person who was Lainey's inspiration, who did the interview, I'm going to hand you over to her now, Steph. So there we go.
Oh, that's great to hear. And I was delighted to hear that Lainey has done an interview with Dr. Kiltz. Is that right?
No. She hasn't. I mean, no. She's a member of the KMT now. She joined the KMT last week, so right. She is now a full-blown member of the Kiltz Mighty Tribe. Yeah, absolutely. She knows. She's very good friends with Ali and Dr. Kiltz, but she hasn't actually done an interview with them as yet. But she will be meeting Dr. Kiltz next year because, as we know, Dr. Kiltz is coming across for the meetup. So yeah, but no, she is a full-blown member of the Kiltz Mighty Tribe, and all our friends know her now, and I think she's kind of taken over the limelight from me in some respects. Anyway, sorry, Steph. Talking of the limelight, let's put you back in it.
Thanks, George. Yeah, we are loving what's that guy? The Tomb Raider. Oh, Harrison Ford. That is who you are channeling this evening with the hat and so on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't got the bullwhip though, so
it could have been Crocodile Dundee too.
Yeah, I could do. Yeah, no worries, make sure she'll be right.
You call that a knife?
Yeah,
that's that line? Anyway, I'm Stephanie Taylor, and as George mentioned, I was diagnosed a couple of years ago with stage 4 ovarian cancer. That led me down the rabbit hole that many of us have been down, where I was questioning, why am I sick when I've been eating porridge and berries, spinach, green smoothies, and all of that jazz? How could I be so sick? And what I found there led me to, get started with carnivore, and then you just can't keep it in. I had such an incredible transformation in my health. That with my sister Nikki, we do Happy Sexy Health, and we help people who've never heard a word about this way of eating to do a 21-day primal body reset and start the carnivore or ketovore lifestyle. And it's just such a joy seeing people transform their health. So back to you, John.
Okay, that is wonderful, and I laugh at what George said with his wife and the cult from America. Some of my friends perceive it that way. I had one friend that said right to my face as I started to explain. They came for a visit because they were in the area, and she just stopped me cold and said, "We don't believe in eliminating an entire food group," and I wasn't even allowed to talk. And I was like, that's they believe I believe in the cult. So she's not ready yet. That's how I perceive it. She's not ready yet. So I'm going to introduce Kim. I'm going to read the introduction here so I can put on my reading glasses. This is Kim Morrow. She is 50. She's a mom of 4 with 4 grown children, 1 grandbaby, raised children on low-fat, carb, and then plant-based diet, causing harm to their endocrine systems. She's married 29 years to a beautiful man who is 100% disabled combat veteran. He's now carnivore, unhealthy relationship with food, suffered from depression and anxiety, used alcohol to numb since 7th grade, recovered vegan. Both of them became incredibly ill. They've been a medical massage practitioner, or she's a medical, both of you are medical.
Just me.
Oh, just you're a medical massage practitioner and nutritional counselor for 26 years. We don't have the whole thing there for me to read. So we'll let you elaborate and give us a little bit. It only takes a certain amount of letters. So
That's okay. It was
nobody's
kind of
fault.
jostled. I didn't expect it to be written or
That's
read.
all right. So welcome. Thank you so much for being our special guest this Sunday. You follow a long line of special guests. So go ahead and tell us who you are and your story a little more detailed than the intro.
Okay. Getting this elevator story down here. I'm so used to talking about everybody else because I'm not one that ever goes to the doctor. I don't do any of that. So I don't know what labs are, what tests are. I don't, people have stories, their own personal story of how they became carnivore and into this community. And what got me here first was the veganism. It worked until it didn't. And then I got really sick. And my husband and I looked at each other one morning and we were so sick. We were like, what about going to get a steak? And so we went out of town embarrassed because, we had been preaching this plant-based lifestyle and went out of town and got our steak. And on the way home, we were on crack. Like it was night and day. Our bodies just shifted immediately. Like it had been starving, for that meat. And so we never looked back. But then 2 years ago is when I took the leap to fix my hormones and come over to carnivore. So now my lovely husband is now carnivore. He's doing well. I'll let him sometimes share his story, but it's been definitely helpful for him and for us, definitely. So, 26 years ago, going into nutritional counseling with and manual therapy, we were taught all the supplements, what to suggest for this ailment, that ailment, like who was deficient in this or that, and push these supplements. And I was never comfortable with that from the get-go, because I think in the back of my mind, I was like, why do we need all this? And it mimics the medical monopoly too. It's there when we need it, but I think we use it too much for everything all the time. So I just, tried raising my kids better than, I was raised with food, which I was in that, low carb or not, I don't know, low carb, clean eating, turkey, chicken. And so realizing now that I neglected to give them their fat for hormone development, for brain development, and these developmental years that they had. So they all have their struggles. And I do believe a lot of it is related because I neglected to give that to them for a very long time. So yes, so they have some healing they're going to have to do on their own. But
how old are your 4 grown children?
28, 26, 23, and 19.
Oh, okay. Have any of them, what do they think about your your husband's way of eating now? And are they listening to you, or have you told them?
Yes, my oldest, he is finishing up his prerequisites because he's going to be a chiropractor.
Okay.
And so he's kind of taken all of this in, definitely. So I'm thankful for that. Number 2, not so much, but I'm always in his ear. He knows where I'm at if he needs me. And my daughter, she's our only daughter. She's shown signs of PCOS for a while. And she's definitely been implementing more meat, trying to lower the carb intake. So again, I'm here if she needs me.
Okay. So that's great.
Yeah.
Sounds like they have great mom and dad there ready to go. It really helps when the house hold, like George and his wife and the 2 cats. I'm sure the cats get carnivore too. When the whole house is aligned,
Definitely.
It absolutely works. And it has to be very difficult if you're the only one and the other person or other people don't believe it. And their food is also present and in your face constantly. So I'm glad that at least in your home, everybody's on the same page for sure.
I'm thankful. My husband's been a big supporter. It's definitely been, I feel like I kind of took the reins and he just sat back and he's like, just don't push it on me. Just don't push it on me. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to lead by example. And we watched Animal when it came out, the documentary, and he was like, "That's it. I'm gonna do this." So
that's powerful. How a documentary like Animal and the new one that's going to be coming out from Carrie Mann real soon,
yes,
Healing Humanity. It's media, it's propaganda in a positive way, and people have been fed all the false information since the 1950s and maybe a little further back. And I mean, people just believe, like they believe that the sky is blue and oxygen we breathe. They believe that cholesterol is bad, all of it.
right.
They believe that saturated fat is going to clog your arteries. You have to have that chicken and that lean turkey and all the vegetables. You must have so many servings of fruits and vegetables a day. It's been pounded in our brains. My brother and his wife are coming for a visit again. They come every year in February, and you should see. It's the only time in my house where they go shopping and we go shopping. And I have a separate cupboard that's just for them. They don't touch our stuff. We don't touch, and they chop and cook and mix and all. It's vegetable city, and cereal. And pizza and all that stuff, and they know me. They bought my books. I wrote the books, and they it's like in one ear and out the other. So I love listening to guests like you to hear how maybe you're affecting your husband, your children, the people around you, and maybe I can get an idea from my family. I don't know.
Right.
But before we go around and see if George and Stephanie have anything they want to share or ask you, I want to remind our audience, anybody who's listening or watching, if you have a question for Kim or the host, please type QQQ in the chat there and type your question, and Stephanie will put it on the screen and we'll address that question. There she goes. She did one already. I guess I'll read it. Here we go. This is from Rockin'. Oh, it's from Amy, Rockin' Coach Amy. Kimberly,
hi, Amy.
We are the same age. I was keto for 8 years, lost 110 pounds, started not to feel well. I went carnivore 118 days ago, high fat on Dr. Bright's instructions, and gained more weight, 20 pounds. So what do you think about that, Kim?
We're definitely kind of hitting this in the carnivore community right now, aren't we?
People are adding carbs back in. And,
yes. So I've been kind of diving into Bart K on this one. Love him, and he's pretty much spot on. So I do recommend going in. He just did one with Zane Griggs too, and really kind of dissect it. So he's definitely better and more fluid with the explanation of why this can happen. So that's what I would suggest, because there's really that fat. They say sometimes when we use a lot of mince or ground beef, we can gain weight because we're getting almost too much fat. So getting more like a sirloin that has less fat on it might be helpful to just kind of cut that fat back just a little bit. But again, I do recommend checking out those facts and how our body works instead of jumping right into anything else.
Good advice. Thoughts, hosts?
Yeah. Can I just jump in here? Because obviously what Amy's saying is she started to not feel well. I know Amy quite well. Having gone a carnivore 118 days ago, Amy, how do you feel now? That's good. Because I mean, you look great and you sound great and you're doing great. I know you just had surgery, because we are the hernia twins in the carnivore community. But what I'm thinking is this word homeostasis. Maybe the reason that Amy wasn't feeling so great is because she'd actually artificially got her weight down to below perhaps where it should be. So
very well, George.
Now she's back on the high fat diet, so she's feeling well, and basically her body has said, "Oh, that's great. So we can heal now," and so this is where I want to be at that particular weight. Obviously, if it carries on going up and up, then you want to be concerned. But maybe you've actually reached that point of homeostasis, as I reached earlier on this year, where my body, I was going up and down, up and down, up and down, but it was a gradual come down. I got down to 168 pounds, and then since then, I've gone back up to between 173 and 175, but it just doesn't vary. That is now my point of homeostasis. That is where my body wants to be. So I'm just thinking, Amy, maybe that you weren't feeling well because you lost too much weight. And that once you actually started eating the high fat diet, the body thought, oh, great, now we'll put this back on and, and make you feel well. So Amy, exactly. So Amy's the same height as me, 5 pounds lower than me. Obviously, female, there is a bit of an adjustment there. But at 148, at 5'9", 148, that strikes me as being low, to be honest with you, because obviously I'm the same height as you. Right, the question I have for you, Amy, is how do you feel at 20 pounds heavier compared to where you felt at 148? Can you, if you answer that, that'd be really good, because I suspect that actually 148 was too low, and then now you put the 20 pounds back on, hopefully you're feeling great, and that's pretty much where you should be.
We fixate on the scale number. We fixate on that number. Right. It starts to go up. We panic, and we forget that number is water weight, it's muscle, it's bone, it's fascia. She mentioned her menstruation. There's my gosh, the 4 different stages. It's a constant balancing of hormones. All of that plays into that weight gain. Like George said, totally 110%. How do you feel? If you feel better, that's where your body wants to be. And you only said 100 and some days, 119 days. That's very short time, relatively speaking, in your entire life of being on carnivore. I mean, this is not a diet. Just continue and be patient and monitor.
Does Amy eat dairy?
That's a good point too. Yeah.
No, she doesn't. She's given up the cheese because we were in chat yesterday, and I said that Lainey is having to add cheese back in because she's trying to gain weight because she's lost too much with her cancer journey. And Amy said, please eat some cheese for me, Lainey. So I'm guessing that probably means that Amy's not eating cheese at the moment. But I've just noticed.
Oh, George, you've frozen.
I moved. I wasn't sure if it was all of us.
No.
Here I am. Yeah, I'm back here now. Yeah. So maybe quite simply, Jack, sort of bite the bullet and go out and buy one size bigger or something, Amy, and keep those for back in the back of the closet just in case the weight comes back off again. I've had to go through several wardrobes coming down from 293 pounds to 173 pounds now. The charity shops have received quite a lot of donations from me over the course of the last 3.5 years. So Amy said no, except for the week after when the glucose in my bag got me re-addicted for 1 week. So anyway, that's my take on it. Hopefully you went too low, you got back to where your body wants to be, and you'll feel better for it. That's my take.
Yeah, well, I find this very interesting. Amy is wanting to lose a little bit. She says she's fixating on her clothes not fitting anymore. She's not fixating on the scales. I'm actually 5'9" as well, and usually my weight is around the weight 148. Sometimes a little bit less than that, and sometimes a little bit more. But it really varies because we're all a bit different. And it's interesting what you were saying, Kimberly, about the ways that our body works. So for some people, they find they go a little bit higher fat, especially over 50 in perimenopause, menopause, and they find it really helps them. They find that they go more into the fat burning, that the fat comes off. And what we're hearing recently is that for some people, that either doesn't work at all or it stops working. And then for those people, they need to ease back on the fat. So I think it is a little bit of experimentation, because even though we know how a typical person's body works, we find that in our individual body, in our individual experience, that maybe we were doing exactly, for example, that eating more fat leads you to be in more ketosis, leads you to burn more fat. and lead your weight to drop. And then some people are finding that they've tried that, but it didn't work for them. Or maybe they just need, because high fat can have a lot of different definitions. And so you just need to find the magic for you of what really works for you. I'm not a macro counter, if you know what I mean, in the fact I'm going to try and eat 70-30 or whatever. But what I will do is I will note what I eat and say, for example, I'm eating steak or eggs or what have you, and I'm putting it into, I'll put it into a machine. I'll put it into one of the apps to find out how much of that's fat, and I'll just see what happens. And then if I find that that fat is working for me, that ratio is working for me, then I'll just stick there. And if not, I can always add some more fatty mince to the menu, or pork belly or something. Look at what those are in the app, and then take it from there. So I do it based on, the foods I'm eating and then the results I'm seeing. But different people can adjust it different ways. So I think for us all, I was going to say for us women over 50, but for us all, we really have to just do a little bit of experimentation. After you've got carnivore down, you've been doing it for a little while, you're getting the results you want, you don't need to tweak anything, great. And then some people find that it's not quite working the way that they had hoped, and they do want to tweak one or two things. So I think you're just in that part of the journey, Amy.
Good advice from everyone. When I started keto 8 years ago, I was about 198, 200 pounds. I'm 5'10", and I dropped way down below where I should be. And I was a scale watcher, and I went way down to 155, 160. And man, was I just a stick. People thought I had cancer. They thought I was sick. And then I did ketovore and carnivore, and like George, my body found where it wanted to be. I went up to 170. Now I'm about 168 now. 168, 167, 169. It's been that way for years now. So I think when people start, it's you're finding what works, and your body is finding its stabilization. Your hormones are stabilizing.
You have to heal. Yeah,
you're repairing from the inside out.
Absolutely.
All of that's happening. And a lot of people who make these comments are like, I've been doing this for 2 weeks and I'm not seeing what I want, or I've been doing this for 6 months, I still haven't seen. That's still not a lot of time. We need to, this is a long-term, not a diet, a long-term for the rest of our life way of eating, and things, everybody balances out at a different pace too. I think the older we are, our bandwidth is narrower. It takes a little bit longer. We had on here a few months ago a young girl. She was in, I think was she like 18 or 19 years old? Do you remember her? And she fixed everything really, really fast. And I attributed that to her age. Her body was just, fast because she's young and resilient.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the factor here is everybody takes a little bit longer as we get older to get repaired.
Right.
That's true.
So let's see.
Yeah, and anyway, so it's wonderful to meet Kimberly tonight, because we've actually been friends on WhatsApp since July of this year, when we were exchanging WhatsApps back at the beginning of the course. I remember there was one particular night when I was checking the Zoom course. I said, Kimberly's not here, so I sent you a message tonight. I said, Kimberly, have you forgotten class? She said, no, I'm working, George. So anyway, one thing I would like to flag up about Kimberly, she's done some great, fantastic work on behalf of the veterans, the military veterans. As we found out her husband, she's married to one. I myself am a military veteran, a veteran of Desert Storm. I certainly had all the alcohol and the PTSD problems. Basically at the height of my powers back in 2000, at the age of 35, I was retired. I wasn't a soldier anymore, but I was an international security type person, diplomatic. You found me at very near the top of the world, at the height of the Himalayas. Everything was great, and then my physical and mental health had a massive train crash a few years later. I was a physical and mental train wreck, and I actually lost a year of my life to depression, PTSD, all the things that go with it, alcoholism. various addictions, and it is really a very real issue amongst the veterans, and homelessness as well. So yeah, I just want to tip my hat to you, Kimberly, and say thank you very much for
Thank
all
you,
the work
George.
for veterans. And so we've got the over in the UK this time next week. It will be Remembrance Sunday. I will be here because I don't drink anymore. But I will be going on parade next week with my fellow former comrades. And it's always kind of a difficult time of the year because it is an emotional time of the year for remembering people. So that's just a shout out to all veterans, and thanks very much, Kimberly, for everything you do for us.
Thank you, George.
Absolutely.
That's one thing that's been, I think, for me, because of course I used alcohol a lot to numb, because our household was crazy. When my husband came back from war, he was the first troops coming back pretty much. And they had no words for what was going on. We had no way to expect what was happening. And so he had to fend for himself for years. We all did. Our kids were raised in a home of like crazy land because we didn't have words to explain what was happening. And now with time, they're showing that it was a great little video. It was a doctor showing that a lot of PTSD isn't so much from PTSD, but it was the constant trauma of the brain. So the continual TBIs are causing the gray matter around the brain, which is exacerbating PTSD symptoms. So, again, what a better way to eat to help heal the brain is high fat.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the other thing about being a veteran is that you tend to suffer from hypervigilance, even in the street. If a car backfires, you're diving for cover. So Joe's here actually. We were talking about cortisol and stress yesterday. So if you're hypervigilant, you are constantly in this fight or flight mode. Therefore, your cortisol is always going to be high, and that has to be probably not a good thing, to be perfectly honest with you.
No, you would have adrenal fatigue.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not something which I've really thought about much over the years. But as I said, back in 2000, you found me near the top of the Himalayas at the height of my career, really sort of, and then you would not recognize me 11 years later when I was lying as a fat, depressed alcoholic, just lying on the end of my bed staring into space. And that was the difference between the man who had been up the Himalayas 11 years earlier. And now I'm back to being that human being again. Now I probably couldn't climb the Himalayas anymore because my knees wouldn't take it, nor indeed would my hernia at the moment, which I'm still waiting for surgery for. However, it doesn't stop me from traveling around the world and fulfilling my role in, as Kerry now calls me, the
George's connection's not too good today. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, I had a fantastic time over in the USA, but that human being that back in 2011, that he would not have gone, and he would not have been able to get off the end of his bed to do that. So it's just, I am just so grateful. I spoke to a friend of mine a couple of days ago about the gratitude attitude, and basically I have the gratitude attitude now, because I've lost so many friends through drinking themselves to death. I'm talking about army specifically here now. I've 3 of my best friends in the army, one of whom drank himself to death about 10 years ago. I lost one earlier on last month to drinking, and I've got another one now lying in palliative care, whose liver has failed, kidneys failed, and he's got permanent brain damage, just waiting for the end, really. And they're all 3 of my closest friends in the army.
I'm sorry, George.
No worries, but it's inevitable, Kimberly. We all know it. We all lose them. But the difference being is that I discovered Carnivore, but for the grace of discovering Carnivore, go I. There is no question about that. I would not be sat here now. I probably wouldn't be sat anywhere, to be perfectly honest with you. So every morning I wake up, I see the sunrise, and I have the gratitude attitude. I listen to Morning Has Broken by Cat Stevens as a way of saying thank you for the sunrise. So there we go.
Lovely.
I love that, George. It is all about attitude, and Stephanie is a living example of. I just did an interview with Stephanie. If you want to go watch it, and she beams optimism and positivity and positive outlook, and we can all learn to do a lot more of that in our own lives, because your mind is so connected to the body, and when you're optimistic and happy and positive, the body follows, and of course doing all the other things that you're supposed to do. Kim, I want to ask you, you were vegan for a while and you had that one steak. I love that example of how you both were driving home in the car and you felt so much better, like you woke up, the body saw the nutrition, and you must have been amazing. What do you eat these days? What is your daily, like, say, what does Kim eat in a day?
Well, so when I first started, I ate ribeye all the time. It was like my body needed that proportion of fat and protein. It was just the best. And now I'm good with hamburger patties. I eat so much hamburger. But today, I did wake up and I cooked a couple eggs and had a bison strip. And then I had 2 more patties before I came into the office to meet you all. So, but yeah, usually I'm hamburger patties.
Okay. What else do you like? Does it vary? Do you have something special for dinner sometimes? Or?
No, not usually. I mean, if we go out, every once in a while, my husband will come home, and since he's retired, he'll have a beautiful ribeye surprise for me, that I don't ask for. And so, but yeah, my body is just really okay with hamburger and butter right now. It's easy. And I've added, at work, when I'm at work, if I get a little snacky and I have a break, I have sardines here. Good. And so I use sardines as, a little supplement once or twice a week, but otherwise I keep it really simple.
That's great. Yeah. And you don't get, I often hear people say, aren't you tired of the same meat, eggs, and fish? And my answer is, you would think that you'd get tired of the same stuff,
right?
Because the other world is the multitude of variety of all the junk and everything and the addictive stuff. But when you're hungry, when ghrelin strikes, it looks just as amazing as if you've never had it before. It's right. Just that ribeye, that ground beef is so amazing and delicious. Every day when I have mine, I say out loud, like my body does what yours did when it had that ribeye, and I never get tired of it either.
John, I really equated when being carnivore and just keeping it simple, quieting that food noise was almost identical to when I quit smoking. As a smoker, it's like, when's my next break? When do I get a cigarette? Do I smell like smoke? Where's my lighter? Do I have enough to get me through the night? It's all consuming. And that's how, some people love to cook, and so they use carnivore recipes, and I love that. It gives people, that option if that's what they like. But for me, that makes it all consuming again. It brings in that food noise for me that I don't want to have. I really like not thinking about food. I like knowing that we go to the market and grab 10 pounds of ground beef and we're good, and I know what to do with it. But it's quieting that food noise is what I really like.
That's a big one. Stephanie was just talking about that with Robin the other day about food noise. That was a new term I heard recently that I never had in my lingo. And everybody's food noise is a little different. What is your food noise? And so you just described that. And it takes up space, just like the smoking took up space.
Yes.
That's the definition of food noise. It takes up all this concentration, thoughts. When am I going to have my next? I was raised Italian, all right, and all we did was plan the next meal and talk about food. It was all consuming, and it takes a little while to understand that food is not entertainment.
Right.
It shouldn't be entertainment, even though, the holidays are coming and we do use it around entertainment. We use it around socializing. We use it around celebrating and its religious events. But we have to relearn how to perceive food's purpose, and it's for nourishment. And
Right.
we use it as a drug too much, and then it becomes noise, and it becomes an addiction. At least it did in my world. I'm a sugar junkie. I'm
You
cake and
know,
cream big time.
yeah, I hear you. I still have the occasional donut from time to time, but it's definitely really hard to, like, I pay for it days later, the sugar withdrawal once again, but
And sometimes that's a lesson we have to reteach ourselves, isn't it? We have to be like, all right, I know not to have this donut. And then you do it anyway. And then now I know why I'm not doing this.
I
3 or 4
know
days
it's
before that.
brutal.
Yeah.
That today was the first day with no coffee. So I don't even remember the last time that I did not have coffee in a day. And so I was
Are
just
you
like,
replacing the act with something else like bone broth?
hot water, just
Okay.
hot water.
Gotcha.
But it was just funny because I'm like, of all days to have this interview, time changes, I'm off the coffee, like brutal.
Yeah, Kimberly, just prove I was paying attention in class. Was it 6:38 this morning? You said I'm about to put a bison steak on. I think I saw your post on Facebook. You were very, very precise. It's 6:38.
Yes.
I'm about to cook a bison steak. I thought, fair play to you. There we go.
Well, we've had a few comments. Earlier on, you mentioned that you saw the film Animal and that, made your husband more committed to the carnivore. And Rick said he watched the vegan documentaries but did not go vegan. But then he said later on he did go vegan for 7 months, which was quite a surprise. So he kissed goodbye to the ducks for 7 months.
So
That was
that's
early on in his journey, though. That was not recently. I'm pretty
so
sure.
that's hard when because that time, like when you decide to flip one way or the other, like there's usually a life experience, like there's something happening in your life to make that switch. And when we went vegan, it was when my brother was diagnosed with a glioblastoma. And so it was one of those where I'm like, okay, I have had my nutritional counseling. I know plants are good, and then that's when What the Health came out, Forks Over Knives, all of these vegan documentaries. And I was like, this is it. Like, this is the answer. My brother, like, he needs to be plant-based, and he followed Thomas Seyfried. So that's the route he went. And I'm like, you need to be plant-based. And he's like, no, we're carnivores. But he was right. He was right all along. But yep, sometimes.
Yeah. And Kimmy.
Because you were Stephanie, right?
Yes, but I only lasted, I was a year on vegan, but then I just decided I would have meat occasionally. And so, like at Christmas and things, big family celebrations, we're family, our family is Jamaican, my parents are Jamaican. We had a lot of cooking. So, like the Italians, we're always thinking about food, talking about food, and eating food. In fact, I even had T-shirts made with the full belly crew because that's us, and the names on the back. So it's all about food, and my mum was a very good cook, or is a very good cook. But yeah, Kimmy said she loves to have steak or ground beef and eggs drowned in yummy ghee with a bit of grated fresh parmesan, and that's working for her at 63.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And we've had a few other comments. Joe's Sleep and Slim Down is on. She's actually going to be a guest very soon. And she says she hopes I'm having a wonderful time in Cyprus. So I've only put that on just so that I can show off again about being in Cyprus. It's not big news to many of you in the warmer parts of America, but I just want to let you know that today was 29 degrees. But it's the 2nd of November. It's 29 degrees, which is 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Just so y'all know.
Are you humid there in Cyprus? The humidity level? Because you're all surrounded by water there.
It can be, but today it wasn't too bad.
Because that makes, I notice in Florida, that makes a difference. I mean, it could be 82 and absolutely gorgeous if the humidity's low, but when our humidity is up in the 70 and 80%, it's just disgusting. Yeah.
Steph, I've got a weather question for you. Have you experienced any of the autumn thunderstorms in Cyprus as yet? You haven't?
No,
Okay. It's very unusual. Very unusual, because I lived for 5.5 years whilst I was based in the army. I actually lived and worked 10 miles from where Steph is sat now. So we come in October, November. We used to always get one, not often, but when the thunderstorms came, they were very dramatic. That's the reason why there are very deep storm ditches everywhere over there, because when they come, believe me, they come. So yeah, it's usually October, November, so they're late this year. But yeah, be prepared when they do come. Steph, you might not see them, but they can be quite spectacular, to say the least.
Well, I've got another few weeks, so I'm sure I might see some poorer weather as we carry on in November. But at the moment, it's absolutely amazing, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I've also noticed you found Makronissos Beach as well, Makronissos. That used to be my hangout for barbecues back in the day, but 30 years ago now. Well, in fact, longer than that now. But I know Makronissos Beach very well indeed. So yeah, it seems everywhere. It's Steph and I seem to sort of like follow each other around the world, really, don't we? So it's great, it really is.
It's just that you've been everywhere. So anywhere that anybody's been, you've been, and you've got not only you've been there, but you've got a story about it.
Oh, there we go. I suppose it's true. Yeah.
It's like you just did that with Diane Ladd. You guys had a connection, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think most of the carnivore community knows Rebecca Johnson, who is a fellow MS thriver. She now lives in Spain, but she was actually raised 4 miles from where I'm sitting now. So yeah,
Wow.
it seems to be that maybe it's just I know so many people that I've got so many the people. Yeah, but her dad, who is a retired doctor, lives less than a mile from where I'm sitting now. So there's a lot of crossover, to say the least. That's actually one point I can say. About the difference between the USA and the UK community, because you guys are so spread out. It's hard for you to actually go and meet your fellow carnivores. Whereas when Steph's actually living at home rather than gallivanting around the world, I can jump in. Myself and Lainey can jump in the car and we can be with Steph in 1 hour's time exactly.
Oh wow!
Because we've been out to dinner on Steph's doorstep, and if I go 1 hour in the other direction, I can actually catch up with Lauren Tucker, who is one of the stars of Healing Humanity. So it's a totally different sort of setup over here. We don't see enough of each other, to be perfectly honest, but we are a lot closer, and we can have these mini meetups a lot easier than you guys can over there. So
but have you seen the videos where people like from other countries, parts of the world, come to the United States and say, now I understand why Americans don't travel? Because like our country is so big that we don't even see it all.
No, exactly. I've got a great friend who's a carnivore down in Southern California, Dawn, and the UK, or Great Britain anyway, fits into California 3.5 times. Yeah. So it just gives you a perspective of how it's like Dawn to go and see her daughter she's in SoCal down in the Big Bear country. To go and see her daughter up in Northern California is a 14-hour drive. If I sit down in the car and drive north for 14 hours, I'd end up driving off the end of Britain into the North Sea.
People take planes from Southern to Northern California. They take a plane.
Yes.
She did, but she actually went over. She spent Christmas in Northern California, and she said, the reason I'm taking a plane is because it would take me 14 hours to drive to Northern California. And I thought, hang on a second, if I get in the car now and I drive for 6 hours, I'm at the northernmost point of Britain. So it's just it puts into perspective of just how far away everybody is. It's it's an incredible difference. There is no question about that.
Yeah, I'm excited to go to Hack Your Health, which is coming up November 14, 15, 16. And it's in Tampa, Florida, which is only 3.5 hours away from me. to drive in the car. I'm so excited. Rick is going to go too from Miami.
Yeah, we're following the Rick and Milton saga.
Yeah, and other
Saturday.
carnivores in the country are flying in and get to see everybody.
Exactly.
I was going to go and work Dr. Kiltz's booth. And our
really?
daughter's going to be moving back from Colorado Springs within that time. And I'm like, I can't financially justify all of this. So I was really sad because I was looking forward to meeting all of these people at Hack Your Health. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's a good point, Kimberly. But the thing is that it's like we're all fairly new to the carnivore community, so we're all anxious to sort of get together as quickly as possible. And it was fabulous that myself and Steph were able to meet up at the Great British Meetup for the first time in August. But this is a marathon, isn't it? It's not a sprint.
right.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
if we miss out 1 year, then we're going to catch up at the end
Absolutely.
There are more and more events occurring as we,
exactly. So there's more and more opportunity. There's more and more opportunity. We are growing the meetup community here in the UK. We've got the events, if you like, but we've also got I'm trying to push the mini meetup, the sort of event that Steph and myself had over in her backyard. And I had a more recent one. Steph, you weren't available, but up in Gloucestershire, the Longhorn Bar and Grill. I think Sam's invited you there. It's fabulous. It really is. And then we've got
George.
Yep.
Is that the one where you can order the size of steak you want when you order? Like you can actually custom it to like so many ounces?
Are you referring to my Facebook post?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that is the one. That is the Longhorn Bar and Grill.
Could you imagine? Like but could you imagine though going into a restaurant and ordering a steak and being like, no, I don't want your 18 ounce. Like I want a 46 ounce. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, very much saying they can only offer you what they got, but I had a 2.2 pound T-bone.
Nice.
It was described as a share of steak, but of course it wasn't a share of steak. It was just for me. It wasn't exactly cheap, but then again, I don't spend my money on alcohol anymore. I don't spend my money on Coca-Cola.
Right.
I don't spend my money on takeaways.
Right.
So therefore, it was. I didn't mind spending that money. Got a bit of pushback on Facebook for spending that amount of money, but hey, it's my I earn the money, and as I try to convince people, I don't eat all the rubbish anymore.
Right.
And I don't drink the rubbish either. No Coca-Cola, nothing like that. So,
and I often say we're investing in our health. When we spend the money, and if it happens to be a lot of money at a certain time at a restaurant for some quality meat, we're investing in our health. It's not like if you were spending a lot of money on all the sides and all the junk, you're hurting your health.
Right.
So the money, it comes back to you. You're investing.
Have you found that it's cheaper? Have all of you found it's cheaper to eat this way?
Absolutely. It's a trade.
Yeah, I would say so now, definitely. One of the big things is that the takeaway food in this country, the food to go, is getting incredibly expensive. And of course, we don't touch food to go now because everything is fried in seed oils.
Right.
So, basically, if I go to the butcher and buy in bulk, I can buy 3 big steaks for the cost of one pizza, basically.
Wow.
And cook it the way you want, which you're never going to get it black and blue or rare like you want it. Raw, and you're also in control of the oil. They're going to rub it with seed. Everybody puts that darn seed oil on the grills in the restaurants.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, of course, the fact because I eat raw now, there's no cooking costs involved either.
Right.
So you've got to take all these things into account. I use no gas or electricity for cooking my steaks because I eat them raw. And actually, last week I actually went on the Dr. Kills KMT, and I don't know if you saw this, Kimberly, but I actually said, I just had my rare raw steak in the morning with 2 duck eggs fried in beef. So Dr. Kilts actually said, George, why did he fry them? Why didn't you have them raw? So the next day I had them raw, and I had raw eggs, and I actually took a series of photographs called Cooking with George, raw steak covered in salt, and then I took a photograph of the raw egg yolks going on, the melted, but I do melt butter. And I actually sent those photographs to Alia. And I said on her WhatsApp, I said, Alia, please tell Dr. Kilts I took up his challenge, and here's the proof. and she gave a big love heart and a big smiling face. She said, "I will do, George." So yeah, I got the message, Dr. Kills.
And George is alive today without bacteria or
Right.
viruses.
How did you like it, George?
You're going to get sick.
Yeah, I've been eating raw since June last year, and my health is better than it ever was. So all this nonsense about pathogens, yeah, sure. If you leave a steak out in the sun on a butcher slab for 24 hours before you buy it, the chances are you're going to get pathogens. But we get ours straight from, it goes straight into the freezer, comes out again, and Lainey's saying he was eating raw eggs. You have to live. So there's the proof. There's the evidence.
After you did that, on my
wife had to run away. Yeah, so we freeze the steaks. They come out as and when I need them. I eat them raw. Kimberly, you're asking about it, right? Okay, the texture I prefer to cook steaks, but there isn't a great deal of flavour. But I used to have mustard, but then I had a much better idea. I now cover my steak with salt, a liberal covering of salt, and then I actually melt butter. So I've got salty butter flavoured steak, better than mustard.
Nice,
and a lot healthier.
Well, after that video with Dr. Kiltz, I put my ground hamburger was raw last night, and I put a raw egg yolk on it, and I'm like, I'm going to try it.
Yeah, that is actually steak tartare.
Isn't it amazing?
Ground steak.
Yes.
With an egg yolk on it is the French dish steak tartare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's how I knew that I probably like it, because when we went to a restaurant one time, I got that as an appetizer, and of course it was my appetizer.
yeah, absolutely.
It was good.
Mental thing that some of us have to get past raw,
Yeah, so a lot of people do. I had no problems with it whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, in other countries, in Asian countries like Bella at the Steak and Butter, she talks about, their cuisine being a lot of sliced steak, and they eat it raw. And, in the United States, we're so used to sushi being acceptable, but red meat has not quite caught on yet.
That's very true. Headmaster, quick, panic. The school bell's about to go, and we haven't done the sign off yet.
All right, we have.
Otherwise, we'll all be in trouble.
We'll go around real quick. We'll do clockwise again, and we'll end.
Sorry, this has just gone so quickly that it's the hour is almost gone.
John, I just wanted to call out Jo, because she's bought your book on Audible.
Oh yeah, she bought my Audible book. Thank you, Jo.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to call out Jo as well, because yesterday she did one of her fantastic postcards, like on her profile picture of me and Lainey, which she sent to us last night, and Lainey's going to get it made into an actual picture, Jo. Nice. So we say thank you very much. Anyway, this hour has gone by too quickly, so we better do it. Otherwise, we're going to be late.
So we'll just go around real quick and share where we can find you and connect with you and your work. If you have a social media site or anything, I'm Carnivore Teacher Alpha on YouTube and on pretty much all the social media sites. I put a teaching video that's between 3 and 7 minutes out every single day. I have interviews. I did Rick recently, his second interview with Rick from Miami, lots of interviews, and I just trying to reach people and trying to pay it forward, because I'm so grateful and happy that I have this in my life. And if other people are ready to hear the message, I'm there to help be a teacher for them. Kim, tell us if we can find. Do you have a page, a site?
I'm working on the YouTube, so I do have it. It's onebody.edu.
All right.
And my
ONE or the number one?
ONE.
ONE. One body. Say it again.
EDU.
.edu. Okay.
And that's what my Instagram is as well.
All right.
And I think my Facebook is too. I can't remember, but yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to share before we go on to George?
Yeah, I'm taking cues from all of you. I admire you all and your work and what you're doing, and I'm working my way up there to try to reach as many people as I can to help them, because, the clarity is just everything. When you go carnivore and it's almost like you see the light, and it is. You want to share it with everybody. It's the craziest thing. So not a cult, but just the feeling of overall well-being. And every day I wake up excited to learn more, and like watching all of your videos and going through everything. It's inspirational. It keeps me motivated. it's great resources to have to share with other people. And so that's just my mission, is just to keep spreading the word. So thank you for having me on today.
Thank you for coming on.
Okay, so for me, it's a quick comment about Carnivore Sunday School. As John said, he does a lot of interviews. Carnivore Sunday School was born when he invited me back for a second interview, a recorded interview. And the next thing you knew, we got a long-running series of live chats. So I'm not quite sure how that happened, but it did. So I'm George Goodenough on Facebook. You'll find me and Kimberly chasing each other around on Facebook because we always jump on each other. We always comment and we always put likes or hearts on each other's Facebook. So we're great mates on Facebook. You'll find me under Good Enough For You on YouTube. I am trying to develop my YouTube, but I've got two problems. One, I'm so busy on everybody else's YouTube. I did Kerry, for example, at Saturday Night Live with Kerry last night, which is great fun, by the way. Go and find it if you haven't seen it. And I don't know how many YouTubes I do, but and secondly, I am still technologically challenged. I now know what Canva.com is. I just need to actually sort of get the hang of it. And believe me, guys, when I find the time and when I get the chance to sit down with somebody like Steph or Amy or Juliet or Lewis or whoever's going to teach me, then I will get the everything I promised everybody up and running. Until then, just bear with me is all I'm asking, because I am working very hard on behalf of the carnivore community, which is why I haven't got time to do my own YouTube. Anyway, we're running late, so over to Steph.
Hello. Yeah, I've been in the comments with you. So if you sometimes see me looking down, I'm on my phone commenting. But it's been great to have you all here, and I love the chat that we have in the comments and the community and the camaraderie. And we have so many people that we see here every week, and I didn't get to reply to all of your posts today, but we do read them all, and we love that you're here. So I'm Stephanie Taylor, and I'm at Happy Sexy Health on YouTube, and also Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. And my name is Stephanie Taylor on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So love to connect with you all. And on Instagram and Facebook in particular, you'll see photographs from my trip to Ayia Napa, where it's 29 degrees. So I mentioned that 29 degrees or 82 degrees if you're in America, and it's a lot hotter than the UK, which can go into minus degrees overnight, I believe. George, I heard.
It's possible. But anyway, for us, those of us who lived through Cyprus summers back in the old days, 29 degrees, we wouldn't have gone anywhere near the beach. That's cold. So it's all comparative, isn't it? At the end of the day.
Yeah, it's perfect for me. But back to you, John.
I love it. When I moved to Florida in 2001, in the winter, I would call and brag about the temperature to all my friends who lived up north where I grew up. So I understand, Stephanie, wanting to repeat the temperature to all the people in the UK. You're bragging because it's just so refreshing and wonderful. So absorb it all and enjoy it. You deserve it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Kim, thank you for coming on and being our special guest today. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, George. And we will be back. Oh, by the way, on Hack Your Health, that one Sunday, I won't be present. So I'll let you know. It's like two Sundays from now. So I just won't be able to do it. But the other Sundays leading up.
2 Sundays from now? Oh, no. That means I've got to leave when Joe's on here. It's going to be chaos.
So join us every Sunday, folks. And have
Joe, it's going to be absolute chaos when you come on, my love. So look forward to it.
All right. Stephanie, go ahead and push that button, everybody. Thank you. Take care. Eat meat.